What's happening, y'all? It's your boy Q Monster here, back at it once again. Let's go ahead and check out about everything we know about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer and everything explained. This video is 17 minutes, but I probably won't be trying to react to I probably won't try to watch throughout the whole entire 7 minutes. I probably might just stop by half of it because I'm pretty sure everybody's all caught up on everything that we know about Spider-Man No Way Home. Um, when I was doing my trailer reaction the other day about it, I kind of missed out on a few Easter eggs and a few scenes and a few characters I forgot to mention about, and did not realize that because like I said, it was so much going on with the trailer. So when I've been looking at people's breakdowns on it, I was like, oh okay, so I forgot to mention about that and got about that. So let's go ahead and check this mug out, man. Let's go ahead and get right to it, and let's see what they're talking about here.
What's happening?
They're starting to come through.
The Lizard, Sandman, Green Goblin, Electro, Doc Ock, playing by the same actor. The guy's name.
These videos are not for children. If you're a child,
And I hope I won't get copyright claimed. If I get
piss
copyright
off.
claimed, I might take it down.
Hey there, it's me, your friendly, least favorite YouTuber, Infuso.
You're not Peter Parker.
And finally, it's
See,
finally
he said
happened.
that, I was like, okay, yeah,
Call
we
your
already know
mother,
there's gonna be some
call your
Spider-Mans coming
father.
through.
Call your kids. The Spider-Man No Way Home official trailer has finally dropped. And of course, people are losing their goddamn minds. And I myself should know because I too am a people. To say this is the most hyped movie of all time isn't really that much of a hyperbole. The hype surrounding this movie about parallel universes is unparalleled. It is one of the most highly anticipated film releases of all time. What's clear is that this isn't just a movie. This is an event. This is not just the culmination of the latest Spider-Man trilogy, but a celebration of the entire cinematic Spider-Man saga. And 2 Venom movies. And 1 Doctor Strange flick. Oh, and 3 seasons of the Daredevil series. And I guess technically Captain America Civil War, and the last 2 Avenger films. You know what?
Man, that's
Let's
a
just
lot
say
of
that there's a
MCU
lot
movies,
that led
man.
up to this,
A lot
and
of
there's a
them.
lot going
Plus,
on
you got some
in
of the
this.
Sony
Now let's
films.
get this out of the way. Before we talk about all the trailer gave us, let us first acknowledge what, or should I say who, it didn't. No, they didn't show us Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, which I'm sure a
Yeah, I was
lot of
kind of
us are
hoping they were gonna
disappointed
show him,
about.
but I was like,
But
nah,
considering the
we
amount
don't
of
want to see him
leaks
just
and
yet. You know what I'm
reports
saying?
from
I might
multiple
just see
sources,
it,
not to
during
mention
the
all
movie.
the
When the
times
movie
that Andrew
starts.
Garfield's pretty much affirmed it while attempting to deny it.
We do have to ask you about Spider-Man. Let's just end it right now. Why speculate?
You guys are really good at your jobs, but I'm
We already know they
better.
lying,
So
man.
I'm just really excited
They
to
they
see
both
how
gonna be in the
it's
movie.
done.
I
As you
can
guys
guarantee you
Methinks
that
the
they both
Spider-Man
gonna be in the
doth
movie.
protest too much. I think it's safe to
Like I
say
said,
that
they
they'll
trying to
at
deny it
least
now,
be making an
but
appearance.
As soon as
which is
the
an
movie
idea
comes
I'm
out and we all
personally
go
very
see it,
excited for.
boom, they gonna
On top
pop
of that,
up.
I
I
believe
bet
that
you they
this
probably
line
will.
here is
I
a
bet
tease
you.
for what's to come.
What's happening?
They're starting to come through. And I can't
And the
stop them.
multiverse is
If I'm
starting to
making my
happen.
guess, I would say right around then is when we get the crossover we're all looking to see. The way that they've been marketing this movie, it almost feels like the real-life build-up is the movie's Act 1. Everything has been hidden under this veil of mystery, but, you know, that veil is also see-through, so it's not leaving a whole lot to the imagination. For as much of a secret as this is, I think we can all admit that it's not the best kept secret.
Here's the real truth.
In my opinion, I think a lot of the secrecy behind all this is fictitious. I think the fact that there are more questions than definitive answers have led to much more intrigue
Stop
and interest
saying
in
words.
this movie. I think they want us all being sleuths and playing internet detective, piecing the fragments that they give us together. I just don't believe that the vast majority of these alleged leaks are done without the consent of the company or without purpose. There's something really special about seeing the Spider-Man from my childhood, the Spider-Man from my teenage years, and the Spider-Man from my adulthood all share a screen together. This isn't something that just always happens. Actually, come to think of it, this is something that never happens. 3 separate adaptations of this character adventuring together. Outside of a Doctor Who special, you're not going to see anything like this. Now, there's a couple things I want to note in these trailers. And yes, I will be using all the trailers up until this point in time. When Doctor Strange says,
The problem is you trying to live 2 different lives.
He is the perfect character to make such a comment, considering both his birth name and hero name are one and the same.
I'm Peter, by the way.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using made-up names. I'm Spider-Man then.
The guy has no
I love that
secret
scene in
identity.
that movie.
Hell,
Endgame.
the guy has no amount of
No, it's,
secrecy whatsoever.
that's
Outside of
Infinity
that,
War.
we get a much better look at Doc Ock, who looks like he hasn't aged a day in the last 20 years.
How right you are.
It seems like
He
Doc
still is
Ock
the
won't be
same.
taking on a full-on villainish role, nor should he, as he did die a heroic death. He sacrificed himself at the end of Spider-Man 2, which I think was an amazing arc that really redeemed the character and painted him as a good guy gone mad.
How right you are.
Although in that same respect, Sandman seemingly gave up a life of crime, and the Lizard denounced his villainous ways. He even saved Peter Parker. Come on, guys, I thought we squashed the spider beef. We also get a look at the returning Sandman, who seems to exclusively be in his final form here. We also get to see a much more comic book accurate Electro, who I think
Green
is
Goblin
nostalgia trip.
with Willem
It does
Dafoe
feel, for the lack of a better word, strange
back up in this
that
game.
all the villains in this movie aren't really evil. Electro was a misunderstood, isolated, sympathetic man who couldn't find his place in the world. He didn't fit in anywhere. And due to an accident that nobody could have foreseen, that involved eels fixing the gap in his teeth, he became a walking thunderbolt. The Lizard is a brilliant doctor who lost his arm and experimented on himself, trying to grow it back, only to be turned into Killer Croc's distant cousin and be driven crazy in the
Killer
process.
Croc, distant cousin.
Sandman is a petty crook who stole to support his
wow.
terminally ill child and was radioactively transformed into a
I
breathing
mean, they both seem
sandcastle.
familiar.
And the Green
right?
Goblin, well, no, the Green Goblin is just pretty much evil.
Green Goblin.
I'm also really excited to see the return of J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
And
him.
I'm
I
pleasantly
did not
surprised to see that
see
he's
him in the
actually
scenes
getting
when I was
involved
watching
in
the
the
trailer. I
action.
forgot to mention
I
about
kind of
him though,
expected
but I
him
did
to
not
show
really
up
catch it.
exclusively on Trons throughout the city, filming his new generation Daily Bugle show. But it's
Jonah
good to actually see
Jameson
him have
coming
some
back
sort of
to the
role
scene,
in
bro.
this.
Coming back to the
More
game.
J.K. Simmons is
Hating
not
on
something I
Spider-Man
will
like he
ever
always
complain
do.
about in any capacity. The spider suit we see here kind of looks like the spider armor from the comics, and also
that
the
spider suit
animated
looks pretty
series,
cool, though.
and also this action figure I owned as a kid. Not to brag, but I just did. And speaking of outfit changes, who the hell is that? For a split
Yeah,
second,
who is
I
that? I'm
really
thinking
thought,
I'm thinking that's
we're
still Willem
really
Dafoe. I
turning
don't
Ned
know.
Leeds into the Hobgoblin, huh? I'm
I
told
heard
that this
about
is a
that,
Goblin
Ned
redesign,
being the
and that
Hobgoblin.
this is in fact
That
supposed
could be
to be
Ned
Norman
from a
Osborn.
different universe,
There's some
probably. I
concept
don't
art
know.
and behind the scenes pics of a stuntman that kind of confirms it.
Don't know.
And it's not the worst thing in the world, but I gotta ask, do the villains just get together and decide, hey, new Earth, new me? Time to change it up a bit. I mean, I'm not necessarily complaining about it, I'm just
Alright,
questioning.
so I like that
I,
suit
for
that
one, am
Jamie Foxx
very much
got,
on
the
board with the
Electro.
Electro redesign.
And that
I
is
love
comic
that
book accurate.
Electro's
It's kind of like
bolts
the
on occasion
Electro from
resemble his
the
mask.
Spider-Man game.
Because let's face it, that's about as comic book accurate as you can get with this
Yeah.
character without turning him into a punchline. I think the thing I'm impressed with the most here is that the characters still very much feel like the characters. Yes, they're being portrayed by the same actors, which definitely helps, but they're also clearly being written by people who understood those characters in those movies. The one line of dialogue that you hear from Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin seems perfectly in tune with some of his sentiments in the very first Spider-Man movie.
You're struggling to have everything you want, while the world tries to make you choose.
In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother?
Did you think it was coincidence? So many good things all happening for you. All for you.
Jamie Foxx says one thing in the trailer,
You're not gonna take this away from me.
and it's perfectly aligned with the character's mentality in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Doctor Strange mentions that all of these villains die at the hands of Spider-Man. That is their fate.
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate.
But that's not entirely true. The Green Goblin dies in a fight against Peter. So, sure, that checks out. Even if he did technically actually die at his own hands.
The blade that pierced his body came
I'll give you that one. Doc Ock sacrificed himself after a fight with Peter, so I wouldn't really count that one, but if you're
So, yeah,
desperate,
they pulling
sure,
all the
go ahead and
villains
take it. Spider-Man
from
does
from
defeat
their
Electro
universe
in The Amazing
before they're
Spider-Man
about
2.
to,
Fine,
perish
it's yours.
before they're about to die.
But the Sandman
You know what I'm
doesn't die.
saying? They trying to,
I
like,
mean, there's a
transfer
fake out
them to the
earlier on,
MCU
but
world
by the
now.
end of it, the two patch things
So-
up and go their separate ways. And sure, Sandman becomes dust in the wind, but he doesn't become dust in the wind. And the Lizard doesn't die either. Actually, come to think of it, he and Spider-Man end
Lizard
on
got
pretty good
locked
terms
up.
too. And after Strange makes that statement, Peter disagrees and defies his mentor. I imagine Peter's so hard
Yeah,
up
that's when
on
they
this
start
fact
fighting.
because he's already feeling guilty about having killed Mysterio in the last movie. On top of that, now he learns that his other world
Yo, I'm thinking
counterparts are
Mysterio
responsible for
may
killing
show up in this
multiple
movie.
tragically transformed
I've been hearing
people
some
with
theories about
horrible
that too, though,
origin
but he may
stories.
show up in this movie. I don't
What
know.
I'm really loving about
He
this
might
so
or he
far
might
is
not.
the amount of consequence there is following Spider-Man Far From Home. Some of the time Marvel introduce big plot points that either instantly resolve or are kind of watered down when it comes for the reveal. In the MCU, hiding one's identity seems much more taxing than having it revealed.
I am Iron Man.
But here we see that there is some serious backlash. When Peter is revealed to the world, his world changes. And then soon after, the world changes. There's one scene in the trailer specifically that I really need to highlight, and it's the obligatory girlfriend potentially falling to her death scene. You know the one that we've seen in every live-action Spider-Man movie series ever made. Happened to MJ in Spider-Man, happened to Gwen Stacy in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and now in the third Spider-Man home film, it's happening to the other MJ. I want to point out that the way that this plays out is almost identical to Gwen Stacy's
To
death
me,
from The
again,
Amazing
when
Spider-Man
falling
2.
off the cliff and everything, but
And
the
it
fault of
looks
death.
very intentional. So I'm thinking that this
You
may
know,
be where we
Spider-Man
see Andrew
always gotta save him.
Garfield's Spider-Man spring into action. It would be nice seeing
Still
him get a
crazy about
second
Gwen
chance at
Stacy, though,
saving
how way
life.
she
And
died,
considering
though,
that there's a
but,
whole
it's
lot of
still crazy.
scaffolding here, tell me, where
You
does
know,
this
she
leak
had that
look
little
like it
whiplash.
takes
She was like,
place? What I find really interesting is that when
You know what I'm
Spider-Man 3
saying?
came out, it was a
that
travesty.
web,
Everyone was disappointed,
put-
and the reason
put
most
too much
often
pressure on that
cited
web, you know
is
what
that
I'm
there
saying,
was
trying
too
to
much
catch her.
going on. You have Harry become the Goblin, you have Mr. Sandman entering the picture, you have the birth and death of Venom, and then you have the issues going on in Peter's love life. Then there was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It came out, and it was a travesty. Everyone was disappointed, and the reason often cited is that there was too much going on. You have Harry becoming the Goblin, you have Electro lighting up the scene, you have a side plot with the Rhino, and then you
Yeah,
have
I
the
did not
issues
like that
going on in
rhino. They
Peter's
need to
love
change
life.
that rhino, yo. I don't like
and
that.
the Black Cat and Alistair Smythe
I
were
don't
also
like that.
there.
They
And
need to
yet
change
with
that
this
rhino
movie,
design.
it's
I
because
don't
there's
like
so
when
much
he's all
going on
mechanic
here
rhino,
that
no.
people are
I
so
don't like
excited
that.
about it. Spider-Man, Venom, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Doc Ock,
Oh, yeah.
Green
Charlie
Goblin,
Cox supposed to be in this
Sandman,
movie,
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Electro, the Lizard. Yeah, sign me up. In actuality, I don't think the
He
reason
gotta
those
be in
other
there.
Spider-Man movies aren't looked at as fondly is because there's too much going on. I think they're shown less love because of the way the projects handled all of those things at once. But Marvel and the MCU have already proven to us time and time again that they can seamlessly juggle and interweave plots with ease. So we know the Spider-Man brand is in good hands. And we know that this kind of spectacle left to anyone else wouldn't be as spectacular, or amazing, or ultimate. It would just be Urge in the multiverse, leading to the MCU introduction of the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. But what I think would be much more likely, considering that as of right now, this is the last movie Sony and Marvel are contracted to do together, and Sony still has many more projects in the works utilizing characters like the Vulture
Yep.
from the MCU, I think this
Morbius.
movie may end with Spider-Man essentially getting his own universe. A Spider-Verse, if you will. A universe in which all
Spider-Verse.
the events from Spider-Man's time in the MCU happened, and it's canon, but a universe that is separate and not tied down to everything that was done in the MCU. A universe perhaps in which both the original two Spider-Men exist, and most importantly, a universe in which the Morbius movie takes place. I also think it's possible this movie is being used as a reset. Maybe the film ends with that spell that kicked things off properly going into effect, Considering that we do see MJ put in danger numerous times in this trailer alone, it does stand to reason that Peter may change his mind about letting her in on a secret, after realizing the harm he puts her in by doing so. You know, that whole great power, great responsibility stuff. But then again, seeing as this movie will undoubtedly turn a bigger profit than any Spider-Man movie to date, well, I think there's a pretty good chance Disney won't want to lose it. For one, who is the
Oh
loser
yeah, I seen
jumping
that
at
part.
here? This Spider-Man isn't in his line of sight. And follow-up question, what is he getting knocked out by right here?
See,
Right
yeah,
now,
I saw
Michael has
that part.
hit
Yeah,
every Spider-Man movie
yeah.
leading
This
into
trailer was
Spider-Man
edited,
No Way
yo.
We're talking about the Raimi films.
I'm starting. I was realizing
Web
that now.
films, the MCU movies
Well,
with them.
I
the
did
Venom
heard about it
movies,
yesterday though when
maybe
it was
even Doctor
doing
Strange.
the
I don't know.
breakdown.
And if that's something you guys are interested in, let me know in the comment section below by saying, "Go into the Spider-Verse." Anyway, with all that being said, I was your least favorite YouTuber, V.
Alrighty. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of found out. I mean, that trailer was edited, so you know, they did edit out the characters that need to be in there. You know, which is like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, the two Spider-Mans, which I'm hoping that is, because I'm letting you guys know if Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire is not in this movie, I mean, it may be a letdown to me. To me, it may be a letdown. I mean, overall, the movie might be good, but at the same time, though, if it do not show Tobey and Andrew on there, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be a letdown. Because like I said, 'cause everybody was getting all hyped about it. I'm getting hyped about it, and I'm like, yo, I want to see them back in action again. You know, with Tobey and Maguire, Tobey and Andrew and everything. I want to see them back in action. You know, putting back on the suit, Spider-Man suit. You know what I'm saying? Getting back to business, putting that work in throughout these villains and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just my opinion right there. But we, like I said, we just gonna have to see. Like I said, 'cause there was a lot going on with that trailer. You know, like I said, when I was doing reaction the other day, I kind of did not mention about things or forgot about the mention and everything, and did not realize it. So after seeing this, the breakdown and all this stuff, I was like, okay, yeah, now I'm understanding what's going on now. So yeah, so we already know what's up. I'm pretty sure everybody else already seen it and everything. So hey, y'all let me know in the comments below what y'all think, man. I mean, are you still feeling it? Are you still hyped up? I mean, do you still feel like Tobey and Andrew's gonna be in this film? I'm pretty sure y'all are. You got the same mindset as me is. I mean, which I hope. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different, but we just gotta see what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? When the movie comes out in December 17th, you know what I'm saying? I will be getting my tickets early to go ahead and see that mug. You know what I'm saying? Right when it first comes out. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be up in that thing. So and be prepared for my review on it too. So yeah. So be prepared. Stay tuned, y'all. Anyways, post your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you enjoyed my reaction, make sure you hit that like button and always subscribe it and share it. And I'm gonna catch you guys later. Deuces.